Hi, it's Yvonne from the Quilt Hut. Hey, today is our first Classic Quilt Block Day. I am so excited. We're going to start off real simple. We're going to work on a 9-patch block today, and I'm going to be using fabrics from, your always important white charm pack that you can get at the Quilting Hut. I can't remember the name of it, but it's pretty obvious. It's a white one. It has 102 white charms in it. It's so fabulous. This is another charm pack I got from them, and it is called the Fizzy Pop. Love it, love it, love it. It is so much fun, and I'm going to be pairing that with a couple of the little mini squares from the Rainbow Mini Squares. So all these things, and you know what? I even snuck in some of my fabric from my stash. So join me at the sewing machine as we talk about a 9-patch and a couple variations of the 9-patch. All right, welcome back. We are going to be working on the 9-patch block using the Fizzy Pop and the white fabric here. So with a 9-patch, you have a focus fabric in the center, and then you surround it by different fabrics. So these guys, I'm just going to use 2 fabrics in this block. And so you put 5 of one and 4 of the other. I have 4 different whites here, just so that it gives a little bit of fun, just like that. Alrighty, so first thing we're going to have to do is just make pairs. So I like to lay mine all out. Typically it's over here off to the side where my ironing board is, but because the camera doesn't cover that right now, I brought it up here. So take your center block, fold it over to the left over your left side block, just like this, all the way down. Then I'm going to just take these 3 and move them off to this side because we won't need them yet. And starting at the top, you're going to just sew a 1/4 inch seam. Make sure you have a nice accurate 1/4 inch seam. I'm going to have to sew slowly because if I sew too fast, the camera shakes. I'm going to have to work out how to get that squared away for us so we don't have any camera shakeage. Okay, and now see, this one has the white up, the color up, because they are going to be a checkerboard. And just see how fast I can go without getting shakeage. That's not too bad. All right, get all 3 of them done. This is one of the simplest blocks that you can do. It just makes it very, very easy and fun. All right. Now I'm going to remove these 3, and I'm not going to take them to the pressing table yet because I can press it all at once when I get the other ones on. But I am going to give it a little finger press. So I'm going to press towards my color because you don't want the seams showing through the white if you can help it. So just going to give it a little finger press that way. Finger press this way. You always put the color that you want to press towards on top, and then fold it over and just give it a little finger press. That keeps it open for you a little bit better. Okay, then we'll move these 3 back into position and just fold them right over. Now I am doing what's called webbing. We talked about it in this week's technique video too a little bit, how you can just keep them all hooked together and then nothing gets turned out of position if you don't cut this one apart. Leave that little stitch right there. Nothing will get turned out of position, and it'll make it very easy for the next step. Okay. And off we go. I'm lucky enough to have a machine that lifts my presser foot when I take my foot off the pedal, so I can just put my next one right in. If you need to do it, use your hand and raise your presser foot. And when you put in this second one, when you're webbing, put it in right next to the first one. See how I don't have a gap there? Makes it really easy to match up our seams when it comes time to match our seams. And just push that one right on through. Again, I stop and adjust if I need to. And the last one. And now we have basically all 9 blocks hooked into one piece. However, they are in 3 strips in that one piece. So then we're going to change that out and make it one solid block. Okay. Again, I'm going to do my little finger press here and here. And now, even though I'm finger pressing it, I am going to set my seams before I get started. So I'm going to just pull my ironing board up here on top so you can see it right up here. Okay, so we're going to, I have it finger pressed, but I'm going to quickly set that seam and then press it open. Remember, we're pressing up and down. We're not rocking back and forth. It's up and down. Fold that one over, set that seam to nest those stitches, open it back up, and press it down. Same here. Now on this one, we have the white up. We don't want the white up, so what we're going to do is just take our thumb and fold that white to the back so it is pointing towards the focus fabric. And do that one. And again, press it over and do that one. And I'm going to flip the block around so I can do the other 3 since my ironing board isn't quite, or my camera's not quite on the whole ironing board. Okay, open it out, set the seam. So setting that seam helps your stitches not pull funny when you press. Sometimes when you press, if your seam isn't set, you'll end up with being able to see your stitches right there in the seam, and nobody wants to see that. Okay, now, because we had put them so close together, see how there's just barely any space here in this little area? Can you see that? There's just like 1 stitch worth of thread in there. Makes it super easy to just flip this over and those seams just automatically nest almost perfectly together. You still have to kind of rock it with your finger a little, but it's just almost perfectly nested. And since we always press towards our focus fabric, they are alternating. So let me move my cutting mat or my pressing mat. And we are going to, how I like to start at the top and sew 2 or 3 stitches, a couple stitches there, 4 or 5 in this case, and then come down and re-nest my seam. And if you kind of lick your fingers to get them, you can't see that I did that, but lick your fingers to get them a little moist, you can kind of feel them nest together right there. And then put your finger on it as you sew up to it. These are just so quilting 101 things. Most of you already know them, but for those of us who are just starting out, these are just fun little tricks that are going to make, if you start them at the very beginning when you're on simpler blocks, it'll make the more difficult blocks so much easier when you get there. Okay, so I have stopped here, readjusted here, and now I'm just using my fingers to get it pulled to where I'm not seeing any fabric, because I know that they're cut straight because the fabric hut cut them for me. And they cut them so lovely. Now, when I was talking earlier at the very beginning, I said something like, I got my fabric from the quilting hut. It's the fabric hut. It's my quilting store. So sometimes I call it the quilting hut in my mind, but it's the fabric hut. So you're not going to find them if you go looking for the wrong name. So I'm so sorry I did that, but the fabric cut. They are just the best. Okay, cut it there. Flip it around. Open that one out. And press this one over. Now, we're not going to press this yet because I'm going to show you a trick on that here in just a moment. Again, get that nested a little bit and then come up to the top. So a few stitches and then make sure everybody is where they need to be and go. Okay. I love this 9-patch block. Now I'm using the 5-inch squares. You can make this out of any size square you want. It works just the same. If you want to make a really, really quick big quilt, use the layer cakes. They're wonderful for this type of a block, and it comes together really quickly. You can have a lap-size quilt in no time at all. Okay. And there we go. We have the whole thing cooked together into one piece. Look how nicely our seams nest. If you don't get them fit together really tightly, you're going to have a little gap there. Is it the end of the world? No. But the closer together they are, the finer look you're going to get in the long run. Okay, now, which way do we press these seams? You have more of the dark than you do of the light, so I would suggest pressing them towards the dark. Now, you also can spin these seams, but in this case, if we were to spin them, and I'll show you how to do that in a different technique video, if we were to spin them, it would spin to where they went towards the white, and we don't want that. So we're just going to press towards the 2 darkest of the 3, which is the focus fabric. So we'll set our stitches. We'll take our hand and just kind of roll it over, and it works real well while they're still warm to kind of get that pushed all the way out. If you don't get pushed all the way out, you end up with a little pucker, and you don't want that. So there we go. There we go. And the final one, perfect. Now we'll do the same thing here. We will set the seam while warm, press it on out, just like that. No stretching involved. And run the iron, long side of the iron over. When you use the point, it sometimes will stretch. There are times when the point is necessary, but not always. So there you go. That is a basic 9-patch block. Look how fun that is. You could turn that into a pillow when it's this size. Now it is, let's see, 14 inches. So it's fairly good size. You could always put a border on it. Do whatever you'd like. But I'm going to show you another variation of this one using the same size center blocks, but the outsides are going to be different. So let's go to that one because it's a lot of fun too. This one is called, well, I just call it a 9-patch variation. So in this case, instead of needing 5 of these, you're only going to need 1. That's going to be your centerpiece. And then you're going to use one of them and cut them into 4 parts. See, that's just that cut in half. So these are 2.5-inch squares. Put them on the corners. Now this will end up a smaller square than the one you just made, but that's okay. Right there. And now this is where you can have a choice. You can either use the whites, which is just that white block cut in half, or I went to my stash and I pulled out this green because I thought this was a lovely green to go with these. And I'm going to just put those right like that. And you see how it's the same block, but it sure looks a lot different? Isn't that fun? Okay, so there's a lot of things you can do with the 9-patch. Another thing that a lot of people will do, and maybe I'll do that with this one just so I can show you. They call it a what do they call it? Now that I just lost that as I was doing that. Can't even remember what it's called. But what they do is they cut it right. It's a disappearing 9-patch. Thank you. I got it. You cut it right down the center here and right down the center here. I don't have my cutting mat with me right here, so let me go cut that and I will be right back. Okay, I'm back. Now I'm showing you how to take that very basic 9-patch block and change it up a bit. The 9-patch is one of the most versatile blocks. Okay, so here we have it. Now watch what happens if you take and turn every other one. Look at there. You have a whole new block. Isn't that fun? And so then when you put the next one on, you're going to just get a whole different design just by a basic 9-patch block. Oh, I turned it wrong. There we go. Cutting in quarters and turned. You could cut it in thirds if you, or not thirds, fourths. You could cut it diagonally. It's just so much fun to play with. So pull out some of your scrap fabric. Start cutting up the 9 same size pieces. Now, if we had done this and put a solid, say, a blue right there, when we turned it, we would have 2 blues here, and then out here, when you put the next ones on, you would have another blue there, and it would give you a blue chain in the middle of your other blocks. So it just play. Just play. That's what it's all about, is having fun and trying new things. So I hope you enjoy the classic 9-patch block. We will be doing some other variations on this by putting in some half square triangles or some quarter square triangles as we go along, but lots of things you can do with this basic block. If you have any questions, you can always contact me at customer care at Fabricland, not Fabricland. I did it again, didn't I? Excuse me. Customer care at thefabrichut.com. I got it that time. Customer care at thefabrichut.com. Thanks for joining me today, and I look forward to our next block.